as a leading cause of air pollution. Now, he made these remarks while laying a foundation stone for KIIRA Motors Corporation vehicle manufacturing plant in Jinja. Minister for Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Monica Musenero, says promoting automotive industry is a catalyst for development. Take a look.
Hard workers like this would transform Uganda even under these next 5 years into a totally complete country. This is a team which can deliver if we give them the support they need. They exemplify the kind of workforce that will drive national transformation. Over the few months I have interacted with them, I have learned that the motor vehicle market is actually large and available. And it is growing. The growing demand for vehicles, however, remains untapped in Africa and also especially in Uganda. The global average motorization rate is 174 vehicles per 1,000 individuals.
The amount of money we spend on importing vehicles in Uganda each year, US dollars $550 million, is sent out to buy vehicles from outside. Obukadde obwa dollar butaano mu ataano zesasanya okusaka emotoka okuva ebweru. That's why I told those Kampala people that you fellows, you are killing us. So these are the three big mistakes: squandering our money, giving our jobs away, and abstaining from that huge wealth of the world. So for us, we are getting a disadvantage in everything. We don't use our raw materials. All those are mistakes. So therefore, when you see us, when you hear me appealing to people to please wake up and get out of all these mistakes so that we can help our people better. The second point is to salute UPDF for going into the construction. And as you heard, again, for roughly the same reasons or similar reasons, they are cheaper.
The government is studying the COVID-19 situation in the country in order to see how to open churches and schools. The Minister of ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomusi, was speaking to Christians at Lubaga Cathedral, where new priests and deacons were ordained. The Bishop of Luwero Diocese, the Right Reverend Paulo Semugerere, officiated the ceremony, held in line with the recommended SOPs.
Harvest in the Archdiocese of Kampala, with ordination of 35 pastoral priests at Lubaga Cathedral, the seat of the Catholic Church in Uganda. Bishop Semugerere, assisted by a few priests, due to COVID-19 procedures, ordained the priests and deacons vested in shepherds' white robes.
Abadde asomera mu St. Paul's National Seminary Kinyamasika. Nzuno Sebo.
Bishop Bishop Semogere urged the new priests to be peace creators in order to avert the escalating levels of domestic violence and family disputes.
It is a gift of self-giving. We pray for you that you'll be able to give yourselves completely to others, the service of God and service of neighbor. As we begin this priesthood, we pray that we'll be able to jealously love and defend and protect this gift.
The occasion was graced by the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomosi, who represented the Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabanja. Baryomosi hailed parents who offer their children to the church. He said government is studying the COVID-19 situation in the country before allowing churches and schools to reopen.
We call for your understanding that the government, together with the other partners, including the church, are battling with this COVID-19 pandemic. And some of the measures which we announced are quite inconveniencing and are quite painful and are quite stressing, because all of us would want to see that we defeat this pandemic of COVID-19. We have lost our dear ones, and almost everybody in Uganda has been affected by this challenge of COVID-19. And therefore, we want to call upon the church and the other partners not to tire, to continue passing on this message to Ugandans. While we appreciate that the infections are getting down, but the risk of COVID-19 still remains real.
After Mass that lasted about 2 hours, the newly ordained received blessings of the Apostolic Administrator and affirmed their dedication to the calling. Banadiga, Helen Barbara, reporting for UBC TV News.
Now, President Yoweri Museveni has warned security forces to stop torturing Ugandans in the course of enforcement. Now, in a televised address on security, yoga and vaccines, President Museveni said that keeping people in jail for a long period without trial is not allowed. We have more.
Or by order of court, no other. Every policeman who is listening to me, every soldier who is listening to me, and the people of Uganda should know that that is the position of the National Resistance Army, that is the position of the NRM, and that's the position of the Constitution of Uganda. And because of that, that's why Uganda has no refugees. Uganda of NRM has no refugees. When we came in 1986, there were 500,000 Ugandans in exile in Sudan, South Sudan, and in Congo. Uganda was number 4 in the whole world in the number of refugees. But now, there are no refugees from Uganda, except some terrorists who go voluntarily because they want to they think, actually just terrorize our neighbors, mainly Congo, the ADF, and criminals like Chiinji in Australia. They just go because they are criminals, but not political refugees. All these troublemakers, they come here, they make trouble, they go, they come back. If we don't have a case against you, or we don't have enough evidence, we don't touch you. So that's why there are no refugees from Uganda. Instead, we have got 1.6 million refugees from other countries. Whatever man sows, that's what he reaps. By observing human rights, we have stabilized our country. We don't have refugees. So therefore, there is no need, and it's not acceptable for anybody to kutokoza. Wanyankole have got that word, kutokoza. Like I have got my coffee here. If something falls in my coffee, that is okutokora.
Now, the Right Reverend Raphael Wokorach has been installed as the new Bishop of NEBBI Catholic Diocese. The installation took place at NEBBI Catholic Cathedral and was witnessed by the Papal Nuncio to Uganda, Archbishop Luigi Bianco, and the Archbishop of Gulu Archdiocese, His Grace John Baptist Odama. The State Minister for Northern Uganda, Grace Freedom Quetrin, who represented President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, Bishop Raphael Wokorach noted that he is inheriting faith that was already built and funded by many missionaries and previous bishops like John Baptist Odama, who have been his mentor in the process of becoming a bishop. He thanked President Museveni for the support he has rendered to NEBBI Catholic Diocese through a gift of a new car for the bishop, and tasked government to improve on the state of roads in NEBBI Diocese. The bishop remarked that he chooses to serve Christians with humility by acting as a true shepherd of God's people, and called upon Christians to pray for him so that he does this work diligently.
On all that is humble, you know all things before they come to be.
This day is special because we are winding up and confirming what the Pope has taught us.
The Minister of Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakova, says government through her ministry intends to resurrect the amendment of the land laws that will compel private landowners to surrender land to government for different developmental projects before compensation. Nabakova says many government projects have stalled due to delayed compensation, and in the end many end up failing to kick off, thus calling for strict laws and tough guidelines. Take a look.
They were pronounced agitation for the amending of the Constitution in 2017 to make it mandatory for government to annex private land for developmental projects.
A neutral ground can be found. That's what I believe in, because it's not about taking over land. it's development. We want development in most of these places. You will say you need a hospital, you need a school, you need a good road, but where are we going to put that road?
The move ignited widespread anger, with some critics referring to it as a move intended to grow private land. 4 years down the road, the Ministry for Lands, Housing and Urban Development is resurrecting the move.
Remember some time back, Cabinet had brought an amendment on compulsory acquisition of land for development. But because we had not done our work so well as government, members of parliament rejected this. But to me, this would be an option. We need to look at an option whereby government projects can access land at a reduced cost, because projects are for the benefit of the communities. They are for the good of our people in the different communities. They are not individual projects. So when they are brought in an area, they are brought for the common good. And I believe if we repackage ourselves better and educate or sensitize members of the public on what we are looking up to, because these projects at the end of the day will enable even them as MPs, as ministers, as local leaders to have delivered services through the NRM government to their people.
This was during her working tour of northern Uganda, where she launched road construction projects under Uganda support to municipality infrastructure development, USMIT.
But you realize when government comes in and a place has been valued, someone can claim, no, my place was undervalued. Please, don't use my land for any development project. In a way, an individual is stopping development to be taken to a particular community. Yet the people who need those services, they are many than an individual. But if we regulate and streamline that process, then I believe everyone will be happy.
Under the proposed constitutional amendment, government would be allowed to take over land and proceed with plans as adjudications proceed.
I've seen speculators hiking prices when they know that a certain project is coming in an area. They go buy land cheaply from the communities, and after buying land, few years down the road, when a project is supposed to begin, they come on board with titles and begin claiming huge amounts of money from government. And like I told you, most of these projects don't have that provision for compensation. It means that we need to come in and regulate, because the projects are meant for the good of the people. If we regulate, it means that if a survey is done, land is valued at whatever cost, then government project has to start. Because if people begin saying no to government projects, not until you have paid us, it means that the project will drag on.
Current rules allow the government to take over private land only after prompt payment of fare and adequate compensation. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Thank you, Robert Onyango. Now, it is 2 weeks since President KIIRA Museveni eased an earlier 42-day lockdown, with most sectors back in business, but with strict adherence to standard operating procedures to stop the spread of COVID-19. Now, we took a drive to the central business district and observed the situation.
Kampala City is considered to be the epicenter for the spread of COVID-19 due to heavy congestion and being the central business hub. The biggest percentage of people, however, observe standard operating procedures like wearing of face masks, though others do not.
Okay, before we went for the second lockdown, people were trying to adhere because the number of people who were dying of COVID-19 was highly increasing. But now no one talks about COVID. People are only thinking about money. No one minds, like, all what they think is to go and accomplish their activity ahead of them. So they don't mind about it. It's not that they don't care about their lives, but people, there is a saying now around town, like, if you don't want to die of COVID, then you will die of hunger. So I think that's what people are trying to prevent. And like, you know, Kampala is hilly. Most people find it difficult to climb the hill with their masks on.
This woman that we managed to talk to confessed that she cannot wear a mask consistently because she has breathing problems due to old age.
Ojisa wansi butassa kati ngaffe olaba emyaka gye tulimu owulira ossa ng'oziira nga bw'ossaako wansi bw'oziira naye abasinga si balamu era.
Though most shopping malls have visible water cans for hand washing, enforcement is still a problem. Sada Mubale, UBC News, Kampala.
The Minister of State in charge of the Vice President's office, Diana Mutasingwa, has asked the public to stop politicizing government programs. Mutasingwa, who also doubles as a woman member of Parliament, Buika District, was making a follow-up of the Myoga program in Buika District. We have the details.
The government established the Myoga program in 2019 with an aim of transforming homesteads from subsistence to market-oriented economy. A number of Ugandans embraced this program, but due to bureaucracy tendencies, some beneficiaries are not happy. On 5th August, MPs were given a week to follow up on this program in their respective constituencies. The Minister of State in charge of the Vice President's office and woman MP Buika District, Diana Mutasingwa, says most people misinterpreted this program.
To use the money very well so that other people can be able to borrow, because this is a cycle. You borrow and you bring it back, another person, another circle borrows. You borrow, you bring it back, another circle borrows. So we want the circle not to be broken. We want the chain to continue so that the welfare and the household income is improved. Social economic transformation, that's what the President talks about every day. So
the MP Buika South constituency, Dr. Lulume Baiga, adds that the funds given were not guided, and it's the reason most people who received it were not willing to take it back.
They knew that this was money for them to eat. They felt it was a grant and they were not supposed to borrow it and use it that way. That is the problem. The fund was not guided by any guideline or policy at all.
According to Serubura Stefan Chinawa, these funds were too little compared to the number of people who were supposed to share it. He urges government to increase it so that it can be shared evenly among all beneficiaries.
Find one circle is having over 50 or 30 associations, and each association is having over 40 people. That means you may find one circle when it's having like 600 people. And how do you give out the 600? How do you give out the 30 million shillings to the 600 people?
The MP Bukoli Islands, Peter Okeyo, wants government to find a mechanism of distributing funds to the people in the islands, because many have failed to access it due to poor transport facilities from the islands to Busia district where they were deposited.
The islands have got challenges in terms of transport. For example, coming to get information, coming to access the bank. The bank is in Busia. They spend a lot of money and even have to spend a night on the mainland before they get access to this money.
The woman MP in Amayingo district, Margaret Makoha, says many people in Amayingo district have failed to access these funds because they don't have starting capital to save in the circles, hence the money remaining redundant in their accounts.
According to what the chairpersons have informed us, the saving culture is still very poor. People do not have the money to save, and the PWDs, they are saying they completely have no money. So we still have a big problem with our saving culture.
The resident district commissioner in Amayingo district, Captain Yahaya Kakoza, has attributed the poor flow of information about Myoga program to inadequate facilitation of the community development officers who are supposed to move all over the constituency, sensitizing people about the program.
So movements were highly limited. So people could not move around to start formalizing how to get this money. That's why we are having few groups and a lot of money is lying idle on the accounts.
I am Mary Namkose for UBC News.
The president of Uganda Local Government Association, Joseph Lomonyang, has said through embracing the decentralization agenda, there have been a number of social economic achievements. This was at a media briefing by Local Government Association committee members in Kampala.
A Uganda Local Government Association appreciates the government for popularizing the decentralization agenda that limped forward development in the country. The Vice President of the association, Patrick Kayemba, says a number of achievements have been registered, including promotion of area-based planning, which has increased access to the quality of social services in local government.
In regard to issues of service delivery around education, service delivery around health, service delivery around roads infrastructure, that has also been decentralized.
Kayemba, however, says that despite the achievements, there has been a number of critical and systematic challenges that the central government needs to address.
Because now we have political, but we still have a challenge around the money. And you are aware that without the money, then there is decentralization is a bit wanting. So as we celebrate a day of decentralization, which was 10th of August, we recognize the milestones made, but we also recognize that we have a bit of setbacks that we need to work around, we need to discuss around, so that decentralization can be a vehicle, an effective vehicle to deliver social transformation of our country.
Uganda Local Government Association President Joseph Romanyang wants leaders at all levels to support government and the Ministry of Health in the provision of the right information about the vaccine safety.
In order to dispel the myth and the scary rumors around the safety of COVID-19 vaccination, that many people are reading through social media, for example, the belief and the myth that the vaccines were a ploy by the Western countries to control population in Africa.
This comes at a time when there has been visible slowdown vaccination process attributed to the priority category within local areas, attributed to the half-truth about vaccines by some individuals.
To call on government to speed up the process of inducting them, to revisit the COVID guidelines, we've spoken about COVID, to revisit the COVID guidelines and SOPs to provide flexibility to allow our councillors to sit and govern.
Jane Nramcha, UBC News.
Now, malnutrition has affected about 2.5 million Ugandans who are currently stunted. Nutrition experts say this is annoying given the fact that Uganda is endowed with an abundant food basket and gifted by nature. Details follow.
It's really unfortunate to see a farmer malnourished because they have everything that it takes for them to have the balanced diet.
The head of post-harvest handling and agro-processing at Sasakawa Africa Association Uganda, Jacqueline Namsalisi, says damage caused by stunted growth is irreversible.
Saying the very first 1,000 days of a child are very important, and during that time is when actually our trainings are based on seeing that a child grows and grows very well with the locally available crops.
She adds that over a period of 25 years now, Sasakawa organization has been offering extension skills to Ugandan farmers. A lot has been achieved in increasing food production and increased household incomes, but many family members have not translated food availability into proper nutrition. The organization is now coming up with new measures to farmers' livelihoods.
So now when we bring this training to other communities, it is one of its kind, where we now participate with our farmers and identify with them the crops that they commonly grow in their communities, and then show them stepwise how they can balance these crops to come up with a balanced diet.
Piloting the 5-year project in Otuke and Kole districts, a nutrition expert, Esther Yeko Arunga, explains the impact of malnutrition to the young generation and mothers.
A child who is not fed well, oftentimes you find they lag behind. Other children are growing, they've started walking, while this other child that has been getting less nutrition is still struggling to catch up with their growth milestones. But also the appearance of the child is almost is not good. That is what we would say in our language. The skin can be a bit dry, a bit flaky.
Nutrition can be improved through increased access and availability of food at the household level, and improved nutrition increases agricultural productivity.
Okay, I've learned how to mix the balanced diet. I've learned what we're supposed to do when we're breastfeeding.
Sudat Kai, Douglas Setumba, UBC News.
Kasese district continues to register a number of teenage pregnancies and early marriages due to alleged poor parenting as the major cause of the vice. They say parents have failed to take good responsibility against their children, thereby becoming unruly. They have now asked parents to take up their responsibilities by providing basic needs to their young ones.
Kasese district has for years been ranked one of the districts with a big number of teenage pregnancies and early marriages. Whereas other people relate the increase to COVID-19, leaders in Kasese have attributed it to the poor parenting exhibited by parents, especially in rural areas.
Others, even small things like having no pads makes them go for men who can help them buying those pads. Others, they are failing the know-how of either parents failing to advise the young ones, the girls, and they find getting married early.
The leaders were speaking during a handover ceremony of vocational equipment donated by the Alliance for Children and Youth Uganda to support young mothers in the sub-counties of Maliba and Bugoye, all in Busongora County North in Kasese district. These have now asked parents to take full responsibility of their children, especially the girls who are most vulnerable.
So you find because a girl is interested in having something new in his life, something basic in his life, he decides to surrender in for a young boy who has promised to provide some money to provide just an item that can facilitate her live decently.
But we as a government, we are trying to emphasize that parents, please engage your girls, engage our little girls in activities, more especially when it is time for COVID like these days. Engage them, they should be working with you hand in hand, be with them, be serious and advise them so that they should not think of going anywhere.
The district senior probation and welfare officer, Asimu Zainab, says some parents are fond of not reporting child rights violation, something she calls dangerous to the fight against the vice.
Some cases in Nyachiyumbu were not reported, and we got to know that there are cases of defilement even when some of them had already joined early marriage. Just 2 days before, people were negotiating marriage of a 14-year-old girl. But I'm happy to report that those who were in the negotiation room, all of them, we got them and they're already at police. And we believe and hope that justice will be seen.
With the experiences that come along with being a teenage mother, Alliance for Children and Youth Uganda, a non-government organization, has offered to take the young mothers through a vocational training and has given startup materials to more than 100 teenage mothers in sub-counties of Bugoye and Maliba. This, according to Executive Director, Alliance for Children and Youth Uganda, will improve the welfare of the young mothers to make them self-reliant to avoid any further unwanted pregnancies.
So we are hopeful that with this startup capital, we are building their capacity to be able to be self-reliant and also desist from engaging in risky behaviors that can result into engaging in child marriages or even being able to give birth to more children when they are still in their father's houses. So we are looking at these 100 girls to act as ambassadors to the rest of the girls in the community.
Kabugo had also warned the parents to the beneficiaries against using their children's businesses as collateral to acquire loans. The beneficiaries through showing their experiences, advised young girls to desist from engaging in behaviors that would make a bad future for them.
Ugandan farmers are to benefit from Microsoft for Africa's strategy, a digital transformation initiative that intends to invest in agri-tech. The initiative is expected to unlock Africa's vibrant potential, accelerate innovation in agri-tech, and boost data-driven farming that can optimize yields, boost farm productivity, and increase profitability.
His pledge, it is presidential pledge of John KIIRA Institute of Science and Technology.
Construction of John KIIRA Institute of Science and Technology and tourism roads is expected to spark Kisoro district's development and the entire Kigezi sub-region.
The whole world is now digitalized. We want all our children, our business communities, to have capacity to exploit ICT.
The chairperson, Kisoro District Local Government, Abel Bizimana, says the institute will enable Kisoro people access university education and develop the district's human resource.
The thing is not transforming. Maybe one can say, up to now, we have been in voting. But again, I have to really be sincere to myself and the nation that someone is stepping on the lifeline of this university.
Bizimana, who was on a working tour of Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, says President Yoweri Museveni laid the foundation stone for the university at Kanyabukungu village, Gisorora Parish, Nyakabande sub-county in October 2017, but there has been no activity since then.
We shall thank you more if we wake up in the morning and that stone which was put in Nyakabande is transformed into buildings, lecture rooms, lecturers, and infrastructure to train people.
Bizimana says John KIIRA Institute of Science and Technology is a dear aspiration toward the people of Kisoro, and that once completed, it will improve people's livelihoods and skills.
We want natural resources harnessed and sustained. We want to touch the marginalized groups. I am grateful to your MP, the pioneer MP of Chimbiri. For the first time on the floor of Parliament, the question of Batwa, Pygmies, has surfaced.
The university is expected to offer degrees, diplomas, and certificates.
We want marketable skills. Abana bafe abasomye ebikola si bano bakwogera oluzungu.
However, 78 residents are demanding 6.8 billion shillings to vacate the 168 acres of land earmarked for the degree awarding institution.
Of course, he said that we gave him land and then we removed the land. But again, he has the capacity. He's the head of this country. He's a fountain of honor. There's Niruhembo Gwenjura.
President Yoweri Museveni promised to build the institute in memory of the late John Mwimakomuruyanje Kalichezi, the father of the former Inspector General of Police, General KIIRA.
I told him even recently when he was coming that KIIRA contributed to his nation like his father, whose university is being named after him, the Pan-African hero who was supporting the independentalization, if that English is, of all African countries, and his office was in Egypt, and he died in a plane crash when he was coming from Moscow.
John KIIRA died at 28 years on August 17, 1960 in Kyiv, Ukraine, and was a pioneer Ugandan revolutionary who advocated end to colonialism.
There is now neo-colonialism of West, but also African colonialism, where some districts are developing faster than others because of the ability to get closer to the fire and they get warmer.
Bizimana also wants the government to construct tourism roads and expand Kisoro airstrip so that tourists can fly directly to Kisoro instead of fast landing at Entebbe and Kigali airports.
To make these tourism roads is not a wastage. To improve that airfield is not a wastage.
Kisoro district hosts close to 60% of the world's endangered mountain gorillas, an attraction to numerous tourists.
If this airfield of Kisoro was improved, we would have flights directly from region coming to Kisoro without necessarily going fast stepping in Kigali. We want tourism development. We want to promote regional trade. After all, we are near borders. Industrialization. We want to expand, develop mining sector.
Haimana Deo, reporting for UBC News.
Utilization of
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but will return with business stories.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send, and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
Of Uganda. This is superb running.
I've shared my story with the world, with you, but you've only seen the half of it. Because to truly know and appreciate my story, you will have to see it for yourself. My home, my Uganda. From the breathtaking waterfalls of the Nile to every beautiful sunrise and sunset. From the amazing blankets of green to the priceless treasures that lie within. Along the way, I have met some unusual friends. The world-famous silverbacks. When I see them, I behold Uganda's treasures. So yes, you see me and celebrate Uganda. I assure you, there is a lot more in store. I have lived here for years, but even I am yet to see its full glory. Join me. Let's take on the Pearl of Africa together.
Therefore, understanding this model. Hey, excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Welcome back from that break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC as we continue to inspire Uganda. Now into business, women working in markets have asked for more support following losses incurred during the COVID-19 partial lockdown. The women made the remarks while meeting officials from UN Women and Institute of Social Transformation at KIIRA Market.
Officials of Institute of Social Transformation and UN Women have met women working in markets to assess the impact of COVID-19 in their operations. This follows the partial lockdown that was imposed on them, which left most of them sleeping in markets but earning less. The women noted how they are struggling with loans, which have led to the collapse of some of their circles.
People over-withdrew their savings in a way that they would come and say, we want our savings, we want to go and support our families. So this affected the circle in that it would not move smoothly. People would come request for loans, but we could not manage to give out the loans because people wanted their savings. This affected the circle so much. And right now, we have very many application forms on the table, but we can't do much because even the saving is not good.
A vendor from Nakawa Market, Masina Chimugwe, says there is need to train security personnel operating in markets and expressed a high crime rate registered in Nakawa Market. However, the introduction of the Market Garden app has enabled women working in markets to at least make business during the COVID-19 period.
The lockdown came and then people are obstructed from coming to markets. And yet the market women have to make money. They have to make sales because they are sleeping in markets to ensure that they are making sales, but also protecting the families from getting COVID. So IST came up with this solution that was since 2018, and here we are seeing that it is helping the market women to make sales, but also to protect the entire community from getting COVID.
Though the Market Garden app has enabled most women to stay in business, they were faced with a challenge of failure of customers to access markets. Mbabazi Esther, working in Tinda Market, says COVID-19 triggered violence and high teenage pregnancies.
Abaana bawala bafunye embuto olw'abazadde abamu tebaliiwo, omuzadde asiba ali mu mulimu, asiba mu katale, addayo kiro, so abaana ne babeera nga they have a lot of freedom to do what they want.
Biva Muntuyo Women Group thanked government for the Emyoga project and asked for its increment for development. The regional director, UN Women, Mowes Doreid, was inspired by the testimonies of women and pledged more support.
Experiences you shared will inform and shape how we at UN Women support your efforts and continue to partner with the Institute for Social Transformation.
Sudat Kaye, UBC.
Marine transport on Lake Victoria is about to get a major navigation boost. Now this follows the completion of the rehabilitation works of MV Pamba, which has been grounded for 16 years. The ship's system have been redesigned from manual to digital to improve its efficiency, reduce crew expenses and minimize maritime risks.
This was the state of marine vessel Pamba in 2019 in a dilapidated state. And this is the same vessel 2 years down the road after undergoing massive rehabilitation costing billions of shillings.
The budget is around $3.5 million.
3.5?
Yes, that's what we have invested on the rehabilitation. The major difficulties is that, you know, a ship is like a car. When it's moving, it's easier to realize the problems. But when we took over MV Pamba, it was immobilized and it was stopped. So many problems, we only realize the problems later on.
The ship, which is soon to sail on Lake Victoria, will be a major boost to marine transport in the East African region and more so to the Central Corridor, which has in the recent months been served by only one ship, the MV KIIRA.
We can do business cheaper by exploiting this route of the lake. This is one of the models of transport which we have not been exploiting maximally, and which we should, because it reduces and it helps on a number of things. You reduce on tear and wear of the trucks, you reduce on tear and wear of the roads, you reduce on the pollution on the roads, because all those trucks on the roads, you can imagine the kind of gases and fumes they put out there. So it's a very, very beneficial route.
MV Pamba had been grounded for 16 years after it was involved in a grisly accident. The ship, which has been fitted with the latest marine transport technologies to boost efficiency and received fresh paint, is expected to benefit immensely the business community, especially bulk importers and exporters.
MV Pamba has been under rehabilitation. It is now undergoing tests, so that is another vessel on the lake. MV Pamba is the same capacity as MV KIIRA. It has a capacity of 22 wagons, and it takes 18 to 20 hours across the lake from Mwanza to Port Bell or Mwanza to Jinja.
However, small-scale traders like Aimebo Mbarushimana, who imports animal feeds from Tanzania through the port of Mwanza, is making an appeal for a tariff review from Uganda Railways Corporation in order to enable him shift from the small vessels to the bigger and more efficient large ships plying the Port Bell Luzira Mwanza route.
In our corridor, the ship is cheaper for larger corporation, larger institution. There we're competing with WFP. There is also Starbucks International. So the standards they put the tariffs for them are a bit high.
Depending on the volume of cargo that you have, rail and marine would be your best bet if it's bulk cargo. Now, when it's small cargo, there is another discussion we'll have to have with the client.
The return of MV Pamba comes at a time when the Central Corridor route has in the recent months experienced a spike in imports and exports. The newly refurbished vessel has 880 tons capacity and can carry 22 wagons. Currently, Uganda Railways Corporation has a $92 per ton promotional rate for bulk cargo from the Port of Dar es Salaam to Port Bell.
What we are doing, we are giving a cheaper route. Currently, across the lake, we are doing $21 to $23 per ton. This is when you have loaded the bulk cargo on the vessel. So we see that there will be a lot of trade coming from the availability of these vessels crossing the lake and giving a customer timely delivery of cargo from either country.
The Ministry of Works and Transport says it has a plan of further developing water transport. One of the key initiatives is the development of an international standard port in Bukasa, Kampala.
Port Bell is going to remain for tourism, for passenger, and for local cargo. Bukasa Port was chosen because, one, it is located in Kampala Industrial and Business Park, where all factories will be located. Two, it is going to be linked with meter gauge railway and standard gauge railway. Three, it's also going to be linked by a road network. So the space is also very big because it will be on 400 hectares. So we are going to have a very big port within the next 3 years where all the international cargo will be coming.
Mango Tree, a Chinese engineering group which is doing the repairs, says the works are almost 100% complete and expects the ship to have its maiden voyage by September this year. Dennis Igoa for UBC News.
It is now close to 50 years since salt processing was last carried out at Katwe salt mines in Kasese district. This is after the salt colluded pipes and the German investors abandoned the project hastily. Now a consortium between Ugandans and Chinese investors want to extract and process this intestinal brine and evaporate deposits of Lake Katwe into an edible and industrial product. Uganda is well endowed with economic quantities of salt deposits at Lake Katwe and Tibiro Salt Gardens in Hoima.
The extraction and processing of salt at an industrial scale is on high gear at Katwe Kabatrotan Council, Kasese district.
Now the job we are undertaking is to make clear again what's the situation underground, what's the chemicals we can explore from the underground or under the lake.
The salt factory, which last functioned in the mid-1970s, is being revived by Rwenzori Shining Star Limited, a consortium of Ugandan and Chinese investors.
This is a commitment of the National Resistance Movement government to ensure that they bring development closer to the people of Kasese and add value, including job creation and reduction of poverty amongst the people of Kasese.
Salt mining at Lake Katwe in the Kasese district is dominated by women who extract deposits, mainly during dry season when evaporation is at its highest.
The people who have been there as artisanal salt miners using the rudimentary methods, maybe they can also help us improve on the way of mining our salt.
and the methods they are using are the rudimentary local methods. We do not have any improved technology. The only equipment that we use there, maybe sometimes when the lake is very full, we use the pump.
When salt water evaporates, crystals form at the bottom of the lake and later harvested as salt.
To make sure that it can crystallize.
Men participate in extraction on a small scale, especially as lorry drivers and extractors of rock salt, especially at the deeper end of Katwe Salt Lake. Rwenzori Shining Star Limited recently acquired a mining license and surface rights to extract and process the deposits to pure salt for domestic consumption and export.
We will devote to the development of this country, and especially Lake Katwe and Kasese, this region. Thank you.
This, however, has rubbed the local artisans the wrong way.
The best we can do is to get location license. Yeah, because as we speak now, the prospective investor I've been talking about has had an exploration license, which of course was given to him by the government of Uganda. And of course, you know, minerals are a preserve of the government, but still, the Ugandans in Katwe are also for the government of Uganda.
They suspect that the investor may extend his extraction appetite to their salt pans, which they have been surviving on for generations.
Kurugira na baswenguru na banyinenguru baitu bo niho baliraga. Na abo kisobola ngo batwara maziba nibo baguma nibakora babinga entuzi za mukiho bazibinga mu maziba. Kandi tugenda kutuba abakozi babo tuguma tugore byitse batugure.
Local artisans also fear that their mining rights will be lost and their livelihoods affected.
But in spite of the fact that they are changing our lives, I know they are already owning a mining license. Meaning that in case they don't honor us or work with us together, we may end up losing our salt pan ownership.
However, Katwe Kabator Mayor John Bosco Kananura says the town council demonstration will ensure coexistence between the investors and the artisans.
That investor who is coming up with a salt factory is just going to use a bit of the bigger lake, just a small portion. That is the one whose mining lease he is pursuing. Like I said, the rest of the lake will be left for the extractors.
Katwe Salt Mines in the Kasese district is both a source of salt and black mud, which is also called trona and is locally used as fertilizers, and some exported to other areas, including to Kenya, for making glass. Uganda currently imports close to 200 million metric tons of salt per annum, worth about 94 billion shillings. However, over 60% of the salt mined at Katwe Salt Lake in the Kasese district and Chibiro Salt Gardens in Hoima district is exported to neighboring countries, including South Sudan, the DRC, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, and even as far as Zambia. Haimana Deu and Kalisha Stephen reporting for EBC News.
Are you looking for an excellent university? African Bible University is truly special, and our graduates are unique. At ABU, we offer bachelor degrees in education, business, mass communication, and biblical studies. If you want to make an impact on the next generation, apply now at www.abu.ac.ug or call us on 0706 346 587. African Bible University, teaching the treasures of God's truth.
And now into international news. Early election results in Zambia show opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema ahead in a tight, tense race, while the National Electoral Commission has urged people to wait for the final official results to avoid any unrest. The first set of results, announced on Saturday from 15 of the country's 156 constituencies, has Hichilema in the lead with 171,604 votes to President Edgar Lungu's 110,178. The commission said it will update the results as votes from the constituencies are tabulated and expects to announce the final results by Monday. An overwhelming turnout, particularly by youthful Zambians who make up a majority of registered voters, saw long lines in front of polling stations on Election Day Thursday. Many polling stations had to close late to accommodate the voters, said the Electoral Commission, which noted that the large turnout was unprecedented. 16 candidates ran for president, and some of them have already conceded defeat, and congratulated Hichilema on victory, citing results posted at polling stations where votes were counted. Hichilema's United Party for National Development forecast that he would win, also based on the results from polling centers. However, Lungu's Patriotic Front claimed that the incumbent would win. Zambia's military was on the streets of the capital Lusaka and in other parts of the country, and the President Edgar Lungu deployed the military ahead of the election, saying it was to curb some outbreaks of violence.
Blocked by police.
Okay. How can a result in Lusaka, 5 kilometers away from here, not be out?
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
And with some exciting news in the sports scene, Express Football Club has won the 2021 Sekafa Kagame Cup. The Red Eagles beat guest side Nyasa Big Bullets of Malawi 1-0 on Saturday night at Benjamin Mkapa Stadium, thanks to a first half goal from Martin Chiza. Both sides started the game with a caution, but 10 minutes into the game started opening up with Express the better team. Eric Kambale did the donkey walk, win possession, and passed to Muzamir Mutiaba, who played a one-touch back to Kambale, who played Kiza through the winger, squeezed the ball at the near post to give Express the lead in the 21st minute. Now, our reporter Peter Otai has been covering the whole event in Tanzania and now reports.
Well, Express Football Club are the champions of the Sekafa Kagame Cup. They have beaten Nyasa Big Bullets by 1-0. A goal scored by Martin Chiza, who scored that goal in the first half to actually give Express Football Club their maiden Sekafa title. Should be noted that Express Football Club actually reached the finals of the 94 Sekafa, lost that one to Elmerick, then went on and played the 95, also lost that one to Simba. But today Express Football Club comes to the competition, probes and works very hard to go down and win the competition. Now, for Express Football Club also, they managed to win an individual award of the best goalkeeper. Joel Mutakubwa, in his first season at Express Football Club, was actually voted the best goalkeeper. But also on the other side, a gentleman by the names of Forger was voted the MVP. Forger from Nyasa Big Bullets was voted the MVP. That's how things actually panned through. But the champions are Express. The team that finished number 2 is the Nyasa Big Bullets, and the team that finished number 3, Azam, were beaten by a team from Zanzibar called the KMKM. Did beat Azam by also 1-0. I have to admit that the celebration has been so nice. It's been a very big roller coaster of events when it comes down to this year's edition of the Sekafa Kagame Cup, and I'm very sure that Kampala will be painted red when Express Football Club comes through.
Here come the champions. Here come Express Football Club. They have finally done it. From 1994 when they lost, 1995 when they lost to Simba. Win it. That's something great really. And they are the champions. And they'll be excited with the win. Express Football Club. Total to the excitement for the Ugandan champions. It's double for them this year. Is the reason as to why they are champions in here. A best goalkeeper Joel Abele Trude picked up a red card on his first game today. This season. And Mauricio Juko over there. And that's Enoch Walusimbi, the captain of Express Football Club, will be given the title or trophy. And here they come, both of them. The president of Sekafa, president of TFF, hand over the title to the new champion in Express Football Club. Enoch Walusimbi gets the title, gets the trophy. And let's wait and see what he does here. Everybody going down as the captain will be hoisting the title. Express Football Club are looking to be hoisting this trophy right now. Congratulations, Express Football Club, the champions of the Sekafa Kagame Cup 2021. They have made it big in Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam has surely been very, very good to Express. They have done it, and they are currently in cloud 9. Excited they are. They have probed, worked so hard to win this one here. It's been a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere as Express celebrate the title.
So on behalf of, can I say, Azam, that made it very possible for me to be here, and also on behalf of UBC TV and Radio Magic FM that made me possible to be here, let me wish everybody a wonderful night. And of course, this is Pidotai reporting for UBC News tonight. Bye-bye.
Well played, guys, and a very big congratulations to Express Football Club for winning the cup. Now, the joy doesn't end here. The Olympic medalists, Joshua Cheptegei, Peruth Chemtai, and Jacob Kiplimo, well, they have been received as heroes in Kapchorwa district. Now, locals braced the heavy downpour, lining up on the roads in the district to catch a glimpse of the Olympic stars. Take a look.
This was a no ordinary medal procession in Kapchorwa. The heavens decided to pour the entire day. Probably a blessing and a welcome for the Olympic medalists Joshua Cheptegei, Peruth Chemtai, and Jacob Kiplimo. They were presenting their medals to the Kapchorwa district leaders as well as sharing with the locals. The gold, silver, and bronze they have tirelessly worked for. The locals, confined in their houses due to the rains, a parade of the brand new vehicles offered by President Yoweri Museveni was seen all over From the main road to the suburbs of the town, natives gazing at the new SUVs as a symbol of excellency. After 2 hours, district officials endured the rains, waiting for the heroes with dances and wild celebrations. The resident district commissioner tasked Joshua to train up the young ones to take up the mantle. Joshua Cheptegei hailed the locals for grooming them into championship, pledging holding Kapchora's flag high amidst plans of naming Kapchora a sports city. The team later proceeded to Jacob Kiplimo's village for celebrations.
Pure joy, pure happiness. You can see in that footage right there. I want to thank you so much for your company this lovely evening. I leave you with Alex Kim Sempa, who's going to give us a weather forecast of how the weather will look like tomorrow. I'm Lorraine Masika Kazimoto. Good night.
A very welcome. It is time for the weather forecast from the Weather Center with Sempa Alex Kim. Most parts of the country woke up to heavy and thundering but scattered rainfall across many parts of the country. But in the afternoon, there was a pickup also of some light isolated rainfall across some parts of the country. Otherwise, by 9 a.m. this morning, some parts of the country reported rainfall, like Jinja reported 81.8 millimeters of rainfall. That was quite heavy. For Soroti, it was 28.1, and Kitugum reported 25.5 millimeters of rainfall. Now, this is so because at the moment, the rain belt is quite aligned over our region as depicted from the satellite images taken over our region. In the morning, we do expect to see chances of rainfall across many parts of the country, apart from the northern, where we do expect some intervals to dominate. But in the afternoon, we do expect a pickup of thundering rainfall across many parts of the country. And because of this, we do expect temperatures to be relatively cool at 26 degrees centigrade will be across Karamoja region. And the nation's capital, Kampala, also at 26. And in Kabale Highlands, we are forecasting relatively cold conditions at 23 degrees centigrade. And elsewhere across the globe, we are forecasting for Doha as well as Cape Town, bright and sunny conditions, with Doha at a daytime high of 44 degrees centigrade. But in London, we do expect chances of rainfall at a daytime high of 23 degrees centigrade. With that, we wrap it up. Stay tuned and join us again tomorrow same time.
Echa COVID-19 kijja kuggwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear